Food, though. I've got to talk about Dominican food. It's amazing. I used to be a fairly picky eater. I kind of got over that before I left on the mission, but still had bits of it. Um, but I was afraid that I would probably try something that I wouldn't like. And there was only one thing in the entire 2 years in the Dominican Republic that I tried and did not like. Well, and even that I liked halfway. Um, so the Dominican staple is rice and beans, chicken, rice, and beans. Sometimes it's white rice, sometimes it's rice with the beans cooked into it, sometimes it's rice with the chicken cooked into it. And they do offer beef and pork sometimes to go with, but usually it's chicken. The rice, they make it dry, so they don't leave it sticky. They make sure it's all the individual grains. The chicken is cooked, and the beans are cooked in about the same way. They're cooked in a pan on the stove, but in like a sauce. So they call it a guiso. So it's almost like a gravy, but not quite as thick, and really, really, really seasoned, really powerful. So they don't give you very much of the chicken or the sauce, but it flavors the rice enough that you get about the perfect balance. They also, one of my favorite things to have out there were fritos, which are fried, chopped up green plantains. It's like an answer to French fries, kind of, but out there way cheaper. It's super good. You can have them with ketchup. You can have them with a full meal. You can have them just on their own with a little bit of salt, however you want. Also the drinks. I miss the drinks of the Dominican Republic. You get all kinds of fruit drinks. You get fresh lime juice, mango juice, pineapple juice, papaya juice, well, papaya smoothies usually. And you can get smoothie versions of all of these as well that have sweetened condensed milk in there, that have evaporated milk in there and sugar. And you can mix and match bananas, fresh bananas, super sweet bananas, star fruit. They had this one fruit called limoncillo that you couldn't get in a juice, but it was like these little grapes that were covered by a hard skin. So you'd crack the skin and suck out the grape on the inside, and then you pull all the flesh off of it because it was a big seed in the middle. You'd rip all the flesh off of it with your teeth and then spit it out. And those things tasted like pink lemonade. It was incredible. Let's see, other fruits that I liked. Tamarind. They have a lot of tamarind juice out there, and just eating tamarind straight is really good. Passion fruit. Chinola, passion fruit. I had so much passion fruit juice while I was on the mission because it was super cheap. It was like 25 pesos for an 8 to 10 ounce cup of fruit juice, and that was all you needed to accompany your lunch. Or you could make it yourself too. You could buy the fruit super cheap. Every mission house had a blender, and so you just throw it all in the blender and add some things in there. It was super good. The one food that I tried that I didn't like was called mondongo. It's cow intestines and cow stomach chopped up and guisados, so the same way they make the chicken. The guiso was really good. I liked it. I put it all over the rice. But I got it unknowingly thinking that it was like pork or something. And so when I actually tried the meat, it had on one side it had like the texture of a cat's tongue, like super rough and dry. And then it was super rubbery, as if you were chewing on a giant ball of steak fat. And I couldn't take it. I spit it out. And it had a good flavor for sure. I just couldn't do the texture. Other great foods there are dumplings, which are just little balls of flour dough that they boil as if it were making homemade pasta, and then they'll put different sauces over it. Sometimes it's a red, particularly sour or salty tomato sauce. Sometimes, my favorite way, they made out in San Pedro de Macorís, they call it dumplings ahogado en queso, or these dumplings drowned in cheese, where they'd make it with a tomato and cheese sauce. It was amazing. They also made mangu, which is super good. It's mashed potatoes made out of plantains. One of the things I did like about the Dominican Republic, which was probably not the healthiest, and I didn't indulge in it a lot because our mission president and his wife decided to set down some rules about when and where we could eat street food. We had to be careful with it. I really loved empanadas. which in the Dominican Republic means really thin flour dough stuffed with beef or chicken and cheese and sometimes veggies, whatever you wanted in there. And then they close it up and deep fry it. And then stick some ketchup on top, maybe some mayonnaise, salt and pepper, things like that. Well, not pepper. Dominicans don't eat spice almost at all, not even black pepper. One time I made hamburgers for an activity, and I made them with some black pepper, and I didn't make them very spicy at all, and people almost couldn't eat them. It was funny to watch. Dominican food is very smooth, very soft flavors, like powerful flavors, but very mild, no spice to them. A lot of the snacks I tried to kind of avoid in the colmados and stuff like that, little cookies and cakes and things like that. One of the things that I definitely did buy every time I saw, though, was dulce de maní, which is, it's like sort of like a peanut brittle almost that they make. And then dulce de coco, which is, it's like dulce de leche, but they make it with coconut. So shredded coconut that's basically caramelized with some extra sugar on there, and it's the best thing ever. I'm not a big fan of coconut, but I love dulce de coco. Also, I can't mention the Dominican Republic without mentioning habichuelas con dulce, sweet bean soup. Now you're all going to think, what the heck? Sweet bean soup? But I kid you not, it is probably the best dessert I had in the Dominican Republic. It's boiled red beans. You soften them in with some cinnamon and nutmeg, and then you blend them up so that it's all smooth and thick, almost like a gravy. And then you mix in a whole bunch of coconut milk, and you put in some sweet cloves. You put in, they call it batata. It's kind of like sweet potato, but not as sweet. A little bit more solid as well. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But basically, just small spices. The base of it is coconut milk and beans and batata. And then if it's hot, you drink it. You put these little cookie things on the top, little vanilla cookie things that soak it up and get soft. Or if you have it cold, then you can eat it almost like a cereal, because it's not that it's individual part. It's more like a pudding, I guess you'd call it. It's thick. I prefer it cold, but I will eat it hot just as well. It's super good. They make it around Easter. So every time that Easter would get close, all of us in the mission field would get super excited, because the week of Easter, they follow the Catholic tradition of celebrating the Holy Week. And so from a couple weeks before Holy Week until the week after, everyone's making habichuela con dulce, and they all want you to try it. I remember one, I think it was on Jueves or Viernes Santo, so the Thursday or Friday of Holy Week. Viernes Santo is probably the biggest day of Holy Week other than Easter itself. We were going from house to house teaching some people, and in 3 or 4 houses in a row, we got offered habichuela con dulce, and I was in heaven. It was great.